Archangel Michael says, I am begging for your 10-minute, you will receive money today at 8 p.m. If you ignore this message, you will lose all your money. I come to you with a gentle whisper rather than a loud command, not to frighten your heart but to remind you of the love that God has already placed within you, and if your spirit feels tired or your hope feels faint, I ask you to pause for just a moment, breathe slowly, and let these words rest in your soul like soft morning light after a long night, because sometimes heaven speaks not through thunder or lightning, but through quiet invitations to believe once more in the goodness of the Lord. Above, and if your heart agrees, type 2323 if you believe. I do not speak of worldly fear or threats of losing everything, for the love of God is never forced upon a soul, but I bring a message of hope that reaches far deeper than gold or coins or the ticking clock you watch with worried eyes, because the true treasure that God wishes to place within you is peace, the kind that does not fade when storms rise, and I ask you to gently open your heart, not because you are being warned, but because you are being lovingly invited to trust the one who has never left you and never will, even when the world has turned its back. There have been days when your hands felt empty, when your effort seemed unseen, and you thought heaven was silent, yet in those quiet hours, God was not absent, He was holding you close, whispering that His timing is not a punishment but a protection, and every tear you shed, every prayer you prayed in the dark, was being gathered like precious pearls in His mighty hands, waiting for the right moment to be transformed into joy. And I am here to tell you that nothing has been forgotten, not a single sigh or silent cry has escaped His notice. Many chase promises of quick riches and instant miracles, believing that blessings come only in the form of overflowing wallets or sudden wealth, yet God's blessings are often planted first as small seeds within the soul, seeds of faith, patience, and trust that slowly grow into mighty trees of provision, and when your faith remains steady, even when you see no signs, that is when heaven starts preparing doors to open, opportunities to rise, and miracles to gently unfold like petals after rain. You may feel weary because the world keeps shouting about fear, loss, and shortage, telling you that if you do not hurry or grasp tightly, everything you love will slip away, but I tell you that God does not demand from you panic or desperation, He asks for quiet trust, the kind that says, Lord, I do not see the path clearly, but I will keep walking with you, and as you walk with Him, you will find that even in the valley of uncertainty, His hand is steady, His voice is calm, and His presence lights the way before you. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. There was once a humble soul who carried so many burdens in their heart that their steps became heavy, and they whispered to God, "Why must I walk through this struggle?" Yet heaven did not answer with thunder or miracles in that moment. Instead, God sent a soft breeze through the open window and a sliver of warm light across the floor, and in that quiet stillness, the soul felt a whisper deep inside that said, "Hold on, for I am not finished with you," and though nothing around them seemed to change immediately, something within them began to bloom, a small but powerful hope that whispered, "God is with me, even here." That simple moment did not erase every struggle, yet it became a turning point, a small light leading them through the darkness, and slowly, doors began to open that they never expected. Kindness arrived from strangers, opportunities appeared like gentle streams carving new pathways in dry land, and they realized that God had not abandoned them. He had been preparing them, shaping their heart, teaching them to rely not on fleeting promises of the world, but on His everlasting love that never crumbles. So today, if you feel like you are standing at the edge of worry, unsure of how tomorrow will come together, I ask you to lay your fears gently at the feet of the Lord, not because it is easy, but because you do not have to carry everything alone, and when you choose trust over fear, even if your trust trembles, heaven sees it as an offering more beautiful than gold. Type 1919 to receive miracles. Let these words wrap around your heart like a warm blanket on a cold night, reminding you that Jesus Christ did not come to earth to offer you a life free from challenges, but to walk through every challenge with you, holding your hand when you stumble, lifting your head when you bow it in sorrow, and reminding you that the cross was not the end of His story, just as this moment of worry is not the end of yours, because the same power that raised Him from the grave is the same love that shelters you today. There will come a time when your prayers will be answered in ways more beautiful than you imagined, perhaps not exactly as you thought they would be, but in ways perfectly designed by God, ways that heal what was broken, fill what was empty, and restore what you thought was lost forever. And until that moment arrives, you are asked only to keep believing, to keep loving, and to keep walking with gentle faith, trusting that the Lord who shaped the stars also holds your future tenderly in His hands. His love has not passed you by. It is being poured into your life in ways you cannot yet see. If you believe in divine timing and know that miracles are still coming your way, then take a moment right now. There was once a woman who lived alone in a small village. Her hands were worn from work, her eyes tired from the years of waiting, and her soul had grown quiet from too many nights of unanswered prayers. But every morning, she still lit a candle and whispered a thank you to God. Even when the cupboards were close to empty. Even when the sky was dark with rain. Her faith wasn't loud, but it was steady, and God noticed. One day, when she had no strength left to ask for anything more, kindness arrived at her door in a way she never expected. Not as money or fortune, but as people who carried joy and laughter, warmth and food, and suddenly, she wasn't alone anymore. And just like that, her story changed, not all at once, but in beautiful little pieces that healed her heart. You see, that is how God works. Not always in the thunder, not always in the instant answer, but in the daily unfolding of grace. In the strangers who show up when you least expect it. In the strength that keeps you going when you have no idea how you're still standing. In the quiet knowing that, somehow, some way, you are held. And I need you to believe this even when your mind argues with it, even when the world seems to give you every reason not to. God is not punishing you with delay. He is preparing something better than what you asked for. We live in a world that tells us to rush, to push, to fight for everything or be left with nothing. But the kingdom of God doesn't work like the world. It isn't built on panic. It is built on peace, on surrender, on letting go and allowing His will to guide you even when the path looks unclear. And if your heart feels weary because the clock keeps ticking and the promises seem late, know that divine timing is never wrong. There are blessings with your name on them, and they will come not a moment too early, not a second too late, but exactly when your spirit is ready to receive them fully. Sometimes, the wait is not about God testing you. Sometimes it's about Him protecting you. If He gave you everything you asked for the moment you asked, you might miss the deeper gifts He wants to give. The lessons. The healing. The inner strength. The unshakable faith that lasts longer than any material blessing. What He is shaping in you now is not temporary success, it is eternal hope. And hope doesn't always grow in bright, beautiful gardens. Sometimes it blooms in dry places, through cracked soil, in silence, in stillness. That's why, even when it feels like nothing is happening, you must keep your heart open. Keep thanking Him. Keep walking. Keep loving. Keep showing up for life with whatever little light you have left. And know this, God is watching how you carry yourself in the quiet. He sees your humility. He hears the prayers you whisper when no one else is around. He counts your tears. And He stores them not as sorrow, but as seeds for joy that will bloom when the time is right. Type 1818 if you trust in God's timing. There are angels walking with you. They surround your bed at night. They stand by your door when you leave for work. They guide your thoughts gently when you feel lost. And even though you can't see them, they're real. Sent by God to guard, to comfort, and to help carry what feels too heavy. You are not walking alone, not even for a second. And though the road is long and the nights can feel endless, heaven is always just a prayer away. A mysterious 9-word prayer once sealed inside a private government vault is now resurfacing, and people everywhere are seeing financial breakthroughs overnight. Experts say it triggers a long silent part of the human brain responsible for abundance and wealth attraction. It takes less than 30 seconds to repeat, yet it's turning struggle into prosperity. Thousands are reporting cleared loans, sudden cash inflows, and unexpected blessings. Click the link in the description and comments before this secret disappears again. If today you're worried about money, about bills, about not having enough, I want you to take a deep breath and remember that God is a provider, but He doesn't always provide in the way the world does. Sometimes His provision comes in the form of unexpected ideas, unexpected people, unexpected favor. He opens windows when doors are shut. He places grace in the smallest of things. Do not measure your worth by the numbers in your account. Do not measure His love by the size of your blessing. For the richest treasures are the ones that restore your peace, not just your wallet. What God wants for you is not to simply survive but to live with joy, with purpose, with love overflowing from your heart. And yes, He wants you to have what you need. He knows every need before you speak it. He knows the burden you've been carrying. He knows how many times you've cried quietly so no one else would see. He knows the way your stomach tightens every time you think about your future. And He is not ignoring you. He is writing a story with your life that is full of redemption, and it will make sense one day, even if today it doesn't. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not cursed. You are in process. You are becoming. You are unfolding into something beautiful that cannot be rushed. And when your heart is ready, when your spirit is aligned with His will, blessings will flow not just into your life but through it, touching others, healing others, inspiring others. That's how the kingdom works, one soul restored at a time, and it begins with yours. If you still believe that the Lord is working even in your waiting, and that you are being led toward healing and abundance, then let this be the moment you say yes to faith again. Type 111 if you believe Jesus lives in your heart. There was a time when you believed more easily, when the mention of God's name stirred peace in your chest, when you used to talk to Jesus like a friend walking beside you in the sunlight. Somewhere along the way, the road got harder. You faced betrayal. You lost things you thought you couldn't live without. You prayed, and it felt like heaven was quiet. You tried to stay hopeful, but the days stretched long and heavy. And now here you are, wondering if you missed your moment, if you'll ever feel that deep connection with the Lord again. But listen closely, your story isn't over, and God hasn't changed His mind about you. You see, God is not just waiting for you at the finish line. He's walking through every part of the journey with you. Even in the pain. Even in the confusion. Especially in the places where you feel most alone. You might think you've been wandering, but He's been guiding. You might feel delayed, but in Heaven's time, you're right on track. He is not rushing you, nor is He measuring your worth by your progress. He is loving you right here, in the middle of your process, and He has already prepared the next chapter of your life, even if the page hasn't turned yet. There was once a man who worked long hours in a field. He had little to show for his labor, and for years, he harvested nothing but dust and disappointment. His neighbors mocked him, saying he was wasting his time. But every morning, he got up, watered the soil, and looked to the sky. One day, long after everyone else had given up, the ground broke open. What he thought was barren had been quietly growing roots all along. And what grew from that land fed not only his family but many others. The harvest was late by human standards, but it arrived exactly when God knew it was needed. You, too, are planting seeds. Your prayers, your tears, your faith, they are not in vain. The things you think are wasted efforts are actually being stored in Heaven's hands. And just like that man, your harvest will come. Not through striving. Not through fear. But through surrender. Through continued trust in the one who sees what is being formed below the surface. Your blessings are not lost. They are being made ready. Type 1515 to claim miracles and breakthroughs. Right now, it may feel like you're trying your best just to keep up. Life keeps throwing challenges your way. The bills keep coming. Your heart keeps breaking. The pressure weighs on you like a stone on your chest. And no matter how much you try to hold it all together, you feel like something might give. I need you to know this: it's okay to let go of the pressure to have all the answers. It's okay to fall apart in God's presence. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You just have to be honest. Jesus didn't come for the ones who had everything together. He came for the tired, the broken, the rejected, and the forgotten. He came for those whose hearts were cracked open, who cried behind closed doors, who wondered if their lives mattered. And through his hands, scarred by nails, he reaches to you now, not with judgment, but with comfort. Not with shame, but with healing. He is not disappointed in your weakness. He is drawn to it. Because that is where his strength shines the most. There are days when you don't feel strong enough to pray. Days when you don't have the words. That's okay. You can sit in silence and still be heard. Your heart's quiet longing is a prayer. Your tears are prayers. Your surrender is a prayer. And all of them are precious to God. You don't need fancy words. You just need to come as you are. And when you do, you will find that the one who formed the stars also knows how to gently piece you back together. Buried deep in forgotten archives, a 9-word phrase once hidden from the public is now transforming ordinary lives. Neuroscientists call it a wealth frequency activator, because it awakens a part of the brain that naturally draws prosperity. It takes just seconds to speak, but the change can last a lifetime. People are waking up debt-free and financially secure. The page could vanish at any moment. Click the link before it's gone for good. Some people will not understand your journey. They'll judge you for believing in things unseen. They'll tell you to give up, to be more realistic, to stop trusting in something you can't prove. But faith was never meant to be seen by others. It was meant to live deeply within you, to anchor your soul when nothing else makes sense. And while the world rushes toward temporary answers, you are invited to walk slowly with God, to choose peace over panic, trust over fear, hope over despair. You don't need to perform miracles to prove your worth. You don't need to fix everything overnight. What you need is already within you, the image of God, the Spirit of Jesus, the whisper of heaven that says, "Keep going, child, I am with you." And that is enough. More than enough. But heaven noticed. God has seen every step. And if something inside you still believes He hasn't forgotten you, then don't let that flame go out. In the stillness of early morning, long before the world stirs awake, there is a peace that gently lingers, like the breath of God resting over the earth. It is in those moments that the soul begins to remember, it was made for more than survival. It was made for love, for grace, for deep healing. And if you listen closely, you can hear the voice of the Lord, not loud, not forceful, but gentle and sure, saying, "I am still with you, and I am not finished with your story." There once lived a man who had known many blessings in his younger years, but time had worn him down. He had lost wealth, relationships, and even parts of himself he once took pride in. People no longer asked about him. He faded quietly into the background of life. But one day, while walking through a forest alone, he came across a child who had fallen and scraped her knee. He sat beside her, comforted her with simple kindness, and helped her find her way home. That small act of love changed the course of his life. Her family, touched by his gentle heart, welcomed him in like a long-lost friend. His story didn't return to what it used to be, but it became something new, something more beautiful, shaped by quiet purpose and unexpected grace. You see, the world often measures success in noise, numbers, and recognition. But heaven celebrates the quiet kindness, the silent prayers, the moments when you love even though you are hurting. God sees value in the things this world overlooks. And He is building your life not around what you lost, but around what He is growing within you, things that cannot be taken, cannot be shaken, and cannot be measured. It's hard, I know, to keep trusting when it feels like everyone else is moving forward while you are stuck in the same place. But what if the place you're in right now is not punishment, but preparation? What if the waiting is not wasted time, but sacred time, time where God is restoring your soul, teaching you things only stillness can teach, and shaping your heart for something far greater than what you asked for? There is something deeply holy about the in-between. That space between the prayer and the answer, between the pain and the healing, between the ending and the new beginning. It is in this space that your faith grows. Not the kind of faith that shouts and performs, but the kind that sits quietly, hands open, whispering, "Even if I don't see it yet, I trust you, Lord." Type 1818 if you believe heaven is listening. Your heart has carried heavy things. Maybe it's the weight of a loved one's illness, the ache of broken relationships, the burden of not being where you thought you'd be. Maybe you've cried out for help and heard only silence. Maybe you've questioned your own worth because life hasn't turned out how you hoped. But let me tell you this, God has not abandoned you. He is not ignoring your pain. In fact, He is holding you more closely than ever. And the silence is not rejection, it is sacred space for you to grow deeper in Him. There are blessings coming that are so gentle, they will feel like sunlight on your face after a long winter. You won't need to chase them, because they are already making their way to you. God doesn't need you to strive. He needs you to stay close. To stay honest. To stay open. The blessings won't always come in the way you expect, but they will always come in the way you need. Because He knows what your soul truly longs for, even more than you do. And when the breakthrough comes, because it won't just bring relief. It will bring understanding. You'll look back and see how every delay protected you, how every detour taught you, how every tear watered something beautiful inside you. You'll see how God was never punishing you, only positioning you. You'll understand why the waiting mattered. Why the silence mattered. Why the struggle wasn't in vain. If you still carry even the smallest hope that your life is held in God's loving hands, then take a quiet step of faith. Sometimes, the hardest thing isn't the waiting, the heartbreak, or even the loss, it's the silence. That wide, deep, unexplainable stillness where you cry out for something to change, and it feels like nothing does. And yet, even there, God is working. Even there, His love is surrounding you. You may not see it with your eyes or feel it in every moment, but something holy is moving in the unseen places of your life. Just as roots grow deep beneath the surface before a flower blooms, so is God working deeply in your soul before you even notice the first signs of new life. There was a young woman who carried disappointment like a stone in her chest. She had believed, prayed, hoped for things that never seemed to come. She wore a smile around others, but deep inside, she often felt forgotten. One night, after a long day, she sat at her window and whispered, "I don't know what else to do." And in that quiet moment, she didn't hear thunder. She didn't see angels. But she felt a peace fall over her heart like a soft blanket. A warmth that didn't come from the air. And for the first time in months, she fell asleep not feeling alone. From that night forward, things didn't change all at once. But something had shifted in her. She didn't need to understand everything anymore. She just needed to believe that God had not left her. And slowly, the light returned to her life. Not because her problems disappeared, but because she began to see God in the middle of them. In the ordinary. In the quiet. In the kindness of others and the small victories that used to go unnoticed. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. You may be in that same space now, waiting for something you cannot name, holding on to faith that flickers in the wind. And I want to tell you, it's okay. You are allowed to be unsure. You are allowed to be tired. But don't give up. Not now. Not when heaven is still so close to you. Don't believe the lie that your struggle means God is far away. In fact, it's in your weakest moments that His love wraps around you most tightly. There are angels assigned to you, watching, listening, surrounding your steps. They walk beside you in the mundane, whisper strength to your spirit when you feel like collapsing. And while the world rushes on, chasing money and noise and quick answers, heaven invites you to rest, to pause, to breathe in the truth that you are already enough. Already loved. Already chosen. Type 999 to claim joy and strength. Provision is coming, but not just in the form of what you've asked for. It's coming in ways you didn't know you needed. It's coming in healing, in restored peace, in clarity, in unexpected favor. God sees the weight you carry, the thoughts that keep you awake at night, the fear that hides behind your strength. And He isn't asking you to fix everything. He's asking you to hand it over to Him, just as it is. Even the messy parts. Especially the messy parts. You don't have to earn God's love. You don't have to prove your faith by smiling through pain or pretending you're okay when you're not. You just have to be real. Be open. Be willing to say, Lord, I'm tired, but I'm still here. I still believe you're good. That alone moves heaven. That alone invites miracles. You've made it through every hard day before this. You've overcome moments that tried to break you. And even if you feel like you've lost yourself along the way, God hasn't lost sight of you. He still sees the child He formed with care. He still sees the strength inside you that you've forgotten. And He is still calling you into something deeper, something better, something eternal. Sometimes, we look for signs in the sky, but the real sign is the way your heart keeps beating with hope. The way you choose kindness even when you're hurting. The way you keep showing up, even when you don't feel seen. That is faith. That is courage. And that is where God does His most beautiful work. This is not just another message. It's a soft reminder that God has not let go of your hand. And if your heart still dares to believe in breakthrough, even just a little, even if it's shaky, let that little spark speak today. There's a quiet kind of strength that rises inside a person who has suffered silently and still chooses to believe. Not loudly, not perfectly, but gently. That kind of faith moves heaven. It draws angels near. It stirs the compassion of the Lord in ways unseen. Because it's one thing to trust God when things are going well, it's another thing to hold on when your heart is breaking and your hands are empty. That is the kind of faith you've been carrying. That is the kind of soul heaven celebrates. There was once a father who lost almost everything. His home was gone, his crops failed, and he had nothing left to offer his children but stories and prayers. Others mocked him, asking why he still believed in a God who let him suffer. But the man replied softly, "Because even when I have nothing, He is still with me." He continued to pray, not for wealth, but for peace, for strength, for guidance. And in time, he was led to a place of rest, of renewal. Not only did God restore what was lost, He gave more than the man had ever known. Not because he begged, but because he trusted. That's what the Lord wants to remind you of today. You do not need to beg for mercy. You do not need to chase favor. You are already seen. Already loved. Already known. And even now, God is working behind the curtain of your life, setting things in motion that will reveal His hand in the most unexpected ways. He is not in a rush, because He sees what you cannot. He sees what needs to heal, what needs to be removed, what needs to grow stronger before the next chapter begins. And He's not doing it to punish you, He's doing it to protect you. There is no failure in being tired. There is no shame in feeling afraid. Jesus knew what it meant to weep. He knew the ache of being misunderstood, of being left alone in the hardest moments. And yet He still chose love. He still chose to pour Himself out, even when His heart was breaking. That same love is what covers you today. That same strength is what holds you when you feel like falling. You are not alone in your pain. You are walking a path that heaven understands deeply. Sometimes we carry guilt we don't speak about, guilt for decisions we made out of fear, for words we said in pain, for years we feel we wasted. But God doesn't carry a record of your failures. He carries the blueprint for your restoration. And every day that you turn toward Him, even if all you can say is, "Help me," you are choosing grace. You are choosing a path that leads not to shame, but to healing. The things you've lost were real. The people who hurt you caused real pain. The moments that nearly broke you mattered. But they do not define you. What defines you is the image of God that still lives in you, even in your weakness. What defines you is the love that cannot be taken away. What defines you is the promise that, even in ashes, beauty will rise again. And maybe that's what this moment is. Maybe it's not the end or even the breakthrough just yet. Maybe it's the space where your roots grow deeper, where your heart grows softer, where your spirit learns to hear God's voice not in the loud, but in the still. In the silence between heartbeats. In the breath you didn't know you needed. In the tears that cleanse more than they break. I know you want answers. I know you want things to make sense. But sometimes the greatest gift isn't understanding, it's peace. The kind that makes no sense to the world. The kind that lets you sleep even when the storm hasn't passed. The kind that fills your heart even when the future is unclear. That kind of peace comes not from fixing everything, it comes from knowing you're not walking through it alone. And if even a small part of your heart believes that miracles still happen in ordinary moments, let that faith speak today. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. The world teaches us that unless we have something to show, something loud, something shiny, something successful, then we must not be worth much. But God never created you to be a performance. He created you to be loved. He does not see your value in your victories, but in your very being. Even on the days you struggle to pray, even when your hands feel empty, your soul still carries His light. And that is more than enough for heaven to move on your behalf. There once was a woman who spent most of her days in quiet service. She didn't speak in crowds or lead many people, but she cooked meals for the sick, wrote notes to the lonely, and prayed for those she'd never even met. Her life was simple. No one clapped for her. No one wrote about her. Yet when her days on earth came to an end, the heavens opened wide to receive her, for her faith had echoed louder than 1,000 voices, and her love had touched the heart of God. That is how the kingdom works. It's not always in the grand gestures. It's in the way you keep showing up with love. It's in the way you choose peace when fear is easier. It's in the way you say, God, I don't understand, but I still trust you. Every small act of faith is noticed. Every whisper of surrender is heard. You are building something eternal with your quiet obedience. You may be in a season right now where everything feels uncertain, your finances, your health, your relationships, your future. You may be waking up each day wondering how much longer you can keep going. And I won't tell you that it's easy. But I will tell you that your endurance is not in vain. Every step you take, every time you choose hope over despair, every time you keep moving when you feel stuck, those are the moments heaven leans in closest. You are not walking toward an empty ending. You are walking toward something God has already prepared for you. And He is not waiting for you at the finish line either. He is walking with you, matching your pace, steadying your steps, picking you up when you stumble, whispering encouragement into your spirit even when the world gives you none. You are never behind when you are walking with God. There's a reason you're still here, still breathing, still holding on. It's not an accident. It's not luck. It's grace. There is something in your life that is not yet finished. There are people who still need your light. There is joy ahead that you haven't seen yet. And no matter how long the night has lasted, morning will come. It always does. It's okay if you felt numb lately. It's okay if you've lost some of your passion or let your hope grow dim. God is not ashamed of your weariness. He is not disappointed in your sadness. He is the God who kneels beside you, not above you. He is the God who weeps with you, not just watches. And He is the God who waits for you, not with judgment, but with open arms. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to cry. But please, don't give up. Not now. Not when you've already come through so much. You didn't survive everything just to be forgotten now. God didn't bring you this far just to leave you halfway. What He started in you, He will finish. And it will be beautiful. You are still a child of light. You are still covered by grace. You are still called by name. You are still the one Jesus died for, the one heaven rejoices over, the one who carries hope even when it's quiet. Nothing you've done can disqualify you from His love. No season of doubt is too strong for His mercy. And no brokenness is beyond His healing. You don't have to be strong all the time. You just need to be willing to take one small breath of faith and believe that grace is still reaching for you. They tried to hide this ancient 9-word prayer for decades, but it's finally been exposed, and those who speak it are seeing money flow into their lives in miraculous ways. Scientists reveal it awakens a neural pathway tied to abundance, joy, and opportunity. It's short, powerful, and life-altering. Thousands are already experiencing relief from debt and sudden wealth. Don't wait, click the link in the description and comments before it's removed forever. You've been holding on when it would have been easier to let go. You've kept walking, even with tired feet and an aching heart. You've prayed prayers that were met with quiet skies, and yet you didn't stop believing, not completely. That matters. That counts more than you know. Because faith isn't always loud and glowing, it's often quiet, shaking, but still choosing to say, God, I trust you.